safety is definitely close to my heart, and I really feel like there has been a lack of a safety tradition in our industry. It's always something that's kind of put aside and people don't focus on it. But I think it's a great way for people to all get together and feel like they're a part of something. And I'd like that camaraderie. That's part of the attractiveness of working in the film industry, and safety is an area where people can get together and sort of feel like, we're all in this together. We're all going to stay safe together and come out of this and do some great work. It is absolutely safe to work in the film industry. People are very conscientious. Most people have done some basic levels of orientation training around safety. Everyone's very aware of what the hazards are because of the nature of our industry. Every situation, every day is different. So people are exposed to a lot of different circumstances, which is always going to push the safety boundaries, right? You have to apply common sense in all these very unique situations, oftentimes not repeating themselves. If you work in an office or you work in an environment where you're going to the same thing every day, day in, day out, your ability to absorb what's going on around you diminishes, and you can't respond the same way. People in our industry are very flexible, adaptable. They see new stimulus coming and they can anticipate that there's going to be issues. So I'd say that it's very, very, it's unfortunate that it's as quiet as it is, the amount of success that we've had in keeping people safe for all these years here in BC. The tendency for anyone in anything is to do the best job that they can do. And sometimes putting the rules aside, the people want to bend the rules to make them look good in doing their job. It's not different in the film industry. People want to build the most beautiful sets. They want to, put the camera in the most precarious positions to get the coolest shots. But if they know what the rules are and it's been communicated to them very, very effectively, then it's a no-brainer, and that reduces the risk of something going wrong, and it reduces the cost of having this variable, X factor. Our goal always is to find something that works for the production. There's a creative component to that, and there's a production or a logistical component to that, and both things have to work hand in hand. Well, the first thing is always, does it look good? If it looks good and magical, how accessible is it? How can we work here? How could we work here? That's the second question. If it looks good and we could work here, and I can envision a way that we could get 50 people working on the side of a cliff, we'll do it. We'll take climbers and have them scale areas prior to anyone showing up in the spaces, and I've lost locations because we've scaled it and we found that the rock is too loose, so we had to walk away from the location, even though it looked fantastic. So those things get discovered as the process goes on. Sometimes you're just racing to get, especially on smaller productions, but then the decisions get really simple because if it's not safe, we just don't go there. That's the bottom line. If we can't assess and know that place is safe, we're not going. And that's very simple. Sometimes when we're looking for location, we don't know exactly how the work will unfold, and the way they want to film this is just not going to work in this particular space. We need to move on. And it can be challenging, but it's happened many times where we've had to say, well, we can't do it there, and that's the decision, and then you just go forward. It is extremely intimidating, and I've had that experience too, where you're trying to tell someone, hey, this is not a smart thing to do. The great thing is that usually there's someone else along the path that says, oh, this is not a smart thing to do. Someone more senior who's had a bad experience or just has enough experience and enough clout to be able to say, we shouldn't be doing this. So it's challenging, but it happens. Yeah. As a locations person, it falls on us a lot of times because we're this liaison or this interface between the real world and what their requirements are, or what their feelings are about things, their experiences. So we have to take what they're saying and apply it to our industry and tell people. Most productions are comfortable with us being responsible for that, which is something that I know that our discussion as a department has been, that's a lot of responsibility. We don't necessarily want that. We would like someone that's schooled and trained in safety, and that people like that exist, that they take that responsibility on, or at least they have the knowledge to be able to apply it. But personally, I think that it's all of our responsibility to go and learn about what's safe and what's not, or what the rules are, what the legislation is. And if you're not doing that, then, that's part of professional and personal development, right? So I think it's people's responsibility. That's just me. People don't really understand what we do in our industry. There's a big question mark about what all the individual jobs are. And that's a part of our arts and culture education that I hope for my long term I would like to introduce into my life, like as a part of my volunteering or my extracurricular world, is to go to schools and say, look, these are all the jobs that you can get on a movie set, and those movie jobs are here in Vancouver. something to aspire to, whether it's to become a director and operate a camera, or just to do the production side of it, to get financing and to put projects together. All of that's really a lot of fun, and for all the same reasons. It's camaraderie, it's social, it's very, very variable. So if you don't like the same thing twice, this is the business for you, absolutely, because you'll get that. You'll never do the same thing. Really, you'll never do the same thing twice in the same way. So it's really great. My name is Dayal. I'm a location manager in the BC film industry. I also sit on the Directors Guild of Canada Locations Caucus Advisory Committee as their safety rep.